You're listening to Heroes in the Moment. What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
Today, Andor, episode 9.
Bro, I love this mess, man.
Okay, this is crazy. So initial reactions right off the bat. So I promise, I swear I go from loving this show to being to loving this show.
And then you're vibing again.
To being to loving again. And that's just my emotions through the entire show. And then that was my emotions to this episode as well.
So you were up and down with the entire episode?
I was. There was a lot of points where I was like, okay. And then, of course, at the ending, it brought me back because I adore the ending. The ending was amazing of this episode. So I love that. And of course, it got me very hyped for episode 10 because I think it'll be very good.
Yeah.
But that was my feelings through this episode. And that was my feelings through the series. But, again, I'm loving, it's one of those things. I've never not liked this show. Let me make that clear.
Yeah.
I've never not liked it. But, there's been parts where I've been I don't know how I feel. It's a good show. I understand that. But also, I'm not really enjoying it. But I enjoy it too. So it's that factor going on.
I think these last two episodes have probably been my favorite. I love getting to see a lot of the prison scenes, right?
Right, it's
and
cool.
Similar to episode 8, some of the other plots just aren't as interesting, but what, this episode does in particular, it's building on those characters, right? It's developing them, and it's setting it up for, I think a big thing in episode
and I'm
10,
excited for that.
Right. It's just it's like a slow burner, really. You see him adjusting to life, and you know that what's going to happen is going to be because of the result of what happened in episode 9.
Yeah, as I punch my mic. I completely agree. I think 10 is going to be the breakout, probably, or at least the planage of that breakout of the prison scene.
Yeah.
And then
Andy Serkis, that he was a point of this episode, because remember, in the beginning,
he was the complete point. And that was the part I loved.
How many guards? And he's completely shut off.
Right.
With seeing, the brutality of the
character
Empire
growth.
At the end, it's all right, I'm in now on this plan.
It's pretty amazing. That was the whole point, and I love that aspect, and I love his character to see his growth. So let's get into this episode, just because, and again, like I said, the ending we'll talk about, and it got me hyped. But it starts off with Daedra torturing Bix for information on Andor.
Bruh.
And this is pretty effective.
Dude,
I'd be pretty
brutal,
scared,
dude.
man. Yeah.
I'd be more scared of this, honestly, than something physical.
Yeah. This is
terrifying.
exactly what happened to Leia that they didn't show on screen in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that we never got that perspective. But to see this, just see more and more, because this show has done an incredible job showing the Empire in its reality,
Just
and
being
how
raw,
horrible it is.
How bad they are.
And there's a lot of comparisons that you can use, but it's horrible. They are so bad, and they were torturing Bix for information on Andor, and I don't remember if she broke or not. I couldn't remember. I don't think she did. She didn't. She didn't even know where he was anyway. But
yeah, Miro came back reporting some stuff, so I don't know if she got that from Bix or the other person. But listen, man, they were just brutal. They took the child screams as they were dying from this. From this one planet, and apparently their vocal cords go crazy or something like that.
Right.
And then they modified that pitch. It was just nothing but that. And the coolest shot, bro, when it zooms up just to her eyes. Dude, listen, I forget what the actress name is, but she went crazy during that part.
Right. It was
just
great.
held it, It
was great.
That was terrifying.
It was. And I really, I didn't enjoy this, torturing, but I enjoyed the scene and how it was portrayed, and how it definitely shows the the willingness of the Empire, and how they'll get information of whatever they have to do.
And it doesn't skimp on the details.
No, it does not.
That's not, it's an adult show.
And that's the thing I appreciate about this show, as well as, going and diving deep into those factors I enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. So then we go back to the prison, and Andor in the beginning is kind of finding his groove, if you know.
I know he's kind of vibing.
He's got the handle going on the machine. He's going super good.
He's going ham.
Man, he enjoying it. But then he's still constantly looking around and searching for methods to escape.
Yeah.
Which is something I appreciate for Andor. The only con I have with this is I understand he was a tourist, right? He didn't
do nothing, just catches 6 years.
I feel the necessarily character development for Andor didn't necessarily as much as I would have liked, establish a character that has this much willingness to escape as much as he is. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of confused.
The character development, he's so adamant about escaping. He's got these plans. He's thinking about these guards. He's looking at the, every time it goes up and down, he's in his room, pulling out the boards and stuff and looking at the electrical wiring.
Yeah.
It's just from the previous episodes, I don't see that same character, if that makes sense.
Well, I think in the previous episodes you see a more selfish character,
right?
Whereas in this point, especially when the old homie Rip, Olaf dies, you see him like specifically caring for him. Whereas that clue was in case even when he was episode 6, ransacking the planet, he didn't much.
And
care
that's
for
my
the other
problem
people.
is I haven't seen the transition.
Yeah,
there.
from that person to this
exactly.
person.
So that's my a little bit of a problem con there. Is the character development for me is a little bit off with Andor at this moment in time.
Yeah.
To see this much of a change.
He seems to be looking out for, the greater good for all 50 people in there.
Instead of just himself that we haven't seen prior.
Yeah, I know.
So
he's a thief, right?
Yeah,
he's supposed to be selfish.
Right, so that's confusing to me.
Very Han Solo-esque.
Right. But and then we haven't had a good transitional piece that shows that.
I agree.
So that's kind of a con I had for that moment. All right, so then we go back to Mon Mothma, and she's still keeps showing it. She's still struggling with the Senate. They keep turning their lights off. I'm like, I don't want to listen to you. Go Empire,
dude. How come she hasn't been assassinated yet?
Like, there's so many attempts. I'm sure.
The biggest balls of any senator.
Legit.
Like the Emperor will be there, and she'd be like, "I'm trying to repeal his act."
Does Bail do this? Does Bail Organa get up and be like, "I support her"?
Probably not. But dude, she's like right in everyone's face, like this is bad. Screw the Emperor and his stuff.
I did think it was funny that like everybody's turning the lights off, and then you just hear this random "For the Empire!" Like it's so funny,
bro. Where'd that coming from? That's just loud.
But I definitely feel bad for Mon Mothma, and that's one thing that I do as a pro of this series is I've loved getting to see this Mon Mothma and her character develop and getting more from her.
Yeah.
Right. And how crucial of a key aspect she was for the political aspect of Star Wars from the time of the Republic to the Empire to the Rebellion.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see, even though that nobody in the sense listening to her.
I know.
And she keeps dissing the Empire and they keep going for the Empire.
I really can't believe she's not dead. Like truly, why would they not just take her out?
I know. And they have tried though. Yeah. They have tried.
My favorite part of her is just seeing how, she has to, keep these two sides to herself. Like that bold, courageous, charitable senator, but behind everyone's backs, she's trying to support, the beginnings of the, the whole rebel group. So
facts.
Listen, that amount of pressure and stress that she's dealing with,
it's
and
a
how
lot.
she's
it's
able to handle it.
Plus a teenage daughter who hates her.
I know, and
that
things like
too.
she has a thing with her
and also
ex-boyfriend.
I know we didn't talk about this, it didn't happen in this episode, and I didn't talk about it in the last episode. But her husband sucks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that out there.
He's a total jerk. Watch, I'm calling it right now. They're gonna get divorced, and she's gonna get with Tay, and then her
1,000%.
daughter's gonna resent her for that because she likes the dad more than she likes the mom.
That's very true. Maybe it's season 2,
and then it's gonna turn into like this reality show with the family.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Don't know how I feel about that. It's very possible. But yeah, I just had to mention that because I forgot to mention. But her husband sucks.
Yeah, no, he's a terrible person.
Terrible. Yeah,
but watch.
No, he was in this episode, wasn't he? Because that dinner scene, and he still sucks.
He's just kind of sitting there. Yeah. I think they're trying to portray him just kind of as ignorant and clueless. But I think pretty soon he's gonna catch on to what's going on. He's not dumb.
No,
he's not walking in the room and seeing her talking to Tay so many times and being like, "Oh, it's probably nothing."
Watch it.
He's gonna rat her out,
dude. Watch it. Watch Theory right here.
Theory, it's gonna happen.
She's, they're married. She's making that speech.
Yeah.
He's the one all the way down going, "For the Empire!"
It's him.
Calling it right now.
Through the bench.
Calling it right now. That was him. Anyway, we find out a really interesting piece that I did not see coming from a mile away. And we find out that Mon Mothma and Vel are cousins.
Bruh, they look nothing alike, to be honest.
No idea.
They look nothing, bro.
Of course, those of you who don't remember Vel, she was the girl who worked with Andor on the heist and was the only survivor, the blonde-haired girl.
I still can't stand her, by the way.
Yeah, I don't really like her
She
either.
is so annoying, dude.
Yeah.
Bruh, I would have left her there.
Right.
To be honest.
But they are cousins. That was interesting thought. And they're talking about, what she did and what she's willing to do. And they seem, again, like they're on different sides of the spectrum. They're both for the rebellion, but she's more on the side of like Saw Gerrera. And then,
she's more radical.
And then Mon Mothma's more on the side of the upcoming Luke Skywalker. That kind of ideal.
She wants to do it right.
Right.
Even though the idea itself is not right, she wants to do it with, minimal casualties.
Right. I agree.
I was like, dude, screw it, whatever. I'll kill people.
I completely agree. All right. And then we seem to go back into the prison, which, of course, definitely took the stake of this episode.
This is the best part. For sure, yeah.
And that being seeing some more of the prison corruption and manipulation among the prisoners, guards, medical staff, as well. Yeah. And we hear a big old panic. Something was it level 2? I think they were talking about.
Yeah, level
there
2.
was like a lot of noise, some like blasters, some death, and we find out that there was people getting killed and murdered on that level. And at this time, Kino Loy, played by Andy Serkis, that's his name, by the way, in the show.
Legend.
At this moment, he's trying to keep everyone calm and stay in line.
They're gonna die. He's gonna get
exactly.
Too.
And he's like, stay in line.
It's just a rumor.
And in this part, he's still in the mindset of, I have 200 and such days left. I can get out this. Yeah. This is over for me. And then, of course, he's talking to the other line, talking about like what happened. And then they tell him that they were killed.
Yeah.
And then he turns around. He's like, stay in line. Just keep going, moving forward. Yeah. And that was really cool.
So apparently they said, I watched it today, so it's fresh in my mind. But they say someone from 4 either escaped or got out and then came back into 2.
Yes.
And then they killed everybody in 2. So why they did that, I'm still kind of confused.
Right. They're very much horrible. They're very much like
you don't say.
They don't risk nothing. Like they don't risk nothing, so they're gonna take everybody out.
Did they have an extra man in there, or was
I'm
it?
Sure. Well, we hear later when we're talking about, and I'm sure there's different things. In prisons, and they have so many different levels. I think Isaac said on the last podcast there's 7 different levels. So to see those situations and how each level possibly means something is interesting to think about as well.
I mean, and kind of Andor foreshadows it earlier when he says, we're better than droids because we're cheaper and we're replaceable. And then you see that happen.
I love that line. I love that line.
Dude, that line goes
Such
hard.
a good line.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick before we go back into that prison, because we'll go deeper real quick, but we'll go with this other side plot going on that I thought was actually kind of not stupid, but stupid at the same time. And that being Syril, my guy, stalking Daedra.
And dude, listen, man.
The more I see this,
the more I see of Syril, the less I like him.
I completely agree. Completely,
bruh. He sits there stalking her, pulls her aside,
exactly.
Proceeds to make a 5-minute dreamy eyed speech.
He's like insane. He's like, I can do this.
He's like, for so long, I want to do this, and I feel this way, and I think, and he's making this prologue at the beginning of the book.
I don't care,
dude. Shut up.
I know.
Dude. He's a simp, bro. If I saw him, dude, I would slap his face, dude. I'm telling
definitely.
You.
My guy does not deserve
so
to be there.
Annoying.
It's so annoying.
Like just what he was. I understand what he was trying to say, but he said nothing.
I know.
The whole time.
I was like, Daedra, just kill him, please.
I know,
just
She's
shoot
like,
him.
don't ever talk to me again.
I know. I was like, yes, thank you, Daedra. I don't want to see Syril again at this point.
Much time.
Like, I completely agree. Like, he's stalking her. He's really invested. He wants Andor and all this crap, which there's not really enough character development established again either that displays why he would want him that much to that extent. So it just makes me so mad.
I know. I feel like they just haven't written him well.
Yes.
To be honest, I just don't see it. I know he's going to be in it, but I just don't see a big future for him.
Because
in this show, like Daedra, she's the main.
She's the one going after
person.
him. She's the one
she's
running
doing
things.
Great,
right?
But he's just this really weird, awkward dude who's just obsessed with Andor for some reason.
Right.
Who nobody likes. I haven't run into a person that's like, dude, I like that guy.
No.
Nobody does.
No one does.
He's annoying.
At first,
he's a simp, and he makes
I had
speeches.
once for him, and in the first couple episodes, you don't like him, obviously, and then you have once maybe he could work with Andor, there could be something established. But at this point, I'm just like, kill him off. I don't care anymore.
And bro, the whole relationship with his mom, I don't know why they keep on showing it for the last 2 episodes. She's manipulative.
Again,
she's annoying. But what does that have to play into the show?
Exactly, and that's the key definition of what I said in the beginning of the part where I was loving it, and then I go, because of this. Stuff like this that I don't like.
It's just a lot worse. And the main thing, bro, the prison thing. I want to see the prison thing, man.
I want to see the prison or the corruption within the Empire. I would love to see those aspects more so than I would like to see Daedra, or not Daedra,
but
but
always eating Syril too.
Syril, that's what I'm saying. Eating
why
Syril.
is it always, bro, at the dinner table too?
Talking to his mom about his day.
I fold your clothes. I go in. He's like, stop being nosy, mom.
It's literally
Sounds
every
like a
day.
teenager, dude.
Every episode he's eating cereal, telling his mom about his day.
Mom, don't go in my room.
Don't look under the bed, please.
Don't look under the bed.
Oh my god.
He even just special box. He's like, you were in my special box, bro. What is
my guy has a special box.
What is a special box?
What's a special box? What you got in there? What you got to say?
Listen, I mean, that'd be normal if you're 12 years old, right?
Right.
This man...
Or your parents keep one for you for memories, but he has a special box just for himself. I mean...
It's so dumb.
Crazy.
It's so dumb. But yeah, the more I see him, the less I like him. And I don't think that's going to change,
Unless
I feel
they just
the
do something
writers
crazy.
have who he is. It's not like him being courageous he just has like a wimpy, pouty face, bro.
he does.
You know, like he doesn't inspire
sure.
fear or courage or any emotions besides
Yeah.
anger.
I agree. I agree. So
Truly.
maybe there'll be something of a change later. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, then we go back to the prison, thankfully.
Yes.
And we see, of course, we already had that corruption and manipulation and rumors going around and people getting a little bit in disarray.
Yeah.
But now we have our old man guy getting sick, right?
Rip.
He's really, really sick, and he's left alone with Andor and Kino. They're trying to get him to the medical bay, but he, of course, he topples down. They like, get me help, get help. And then the medic comes, and the medic actually, doesn't he kill him? Like physically kill him, injecting him?
He had a stroke, so there's nothing he could do.
Right.
And, if it was truly evil, then Andor, would have stopped it. But, like, he was essentially just putting him out of his misery.
I mean, the medical guy may have been a jerk, but at the same time, I can understand that.
He was a person too, right?
I think so. The way that they just established
he just
him,
had instead of orange, he had blue on his side. So
it's probably different levels, something like that.
And the whole time he was like, "Bro, his fate is better than you guys."
Exactly. That's what I was going to mention.
The whole time,
He was like, this, I'd rather have this fate at this moment in time. And then they're like, what do you mean? They're like really interrogating him at this point. They're like, what's going on? What happened on 2? What's up with this? And then he's like, all I'm going to say is,
keep your men in line.
Keep your men in line. That's it. Keep your men in line. And at this point, this is the part that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And that being the face, the switch in Andy Serkis, of course, who plays Kino Loy, the switch of the face to where he's like, okay. And then the guy moves on. And this is one of my favorite lines in not only this show, but in like Star Wars media, TV show wise, and maybe even in general, of when Andor's like, how many guards on every level? And then Kino says, never more than 12. Goodness.
And like,
chills.
By itself, that line wouldn't mean anything. But they've been building that up. Especially, last episode we saw the guards on the glances, but especially the beginning of this episode. He spends like a good, 2 to 3 minute conversation in there, like cubicles. How many guards are there?
And that's the thing.
Be quiet. You're gonna
that
get killed.
Line is so significant. And it was so significant to the fact that I had some buzz about it on Instagram, actually finally talking about the show.
Really?
When they were, Star Wars posted, like a preview of the newest episode, every single comment, and I promise you, like every single comment was never more than 12.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, chill bumps.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is getting epic.
I mean, instantly you see Kino going from, right, he only has less than 200 assists left, and he goes from being unselfish to being selfless, right? He finally realizes that the Empire is going to kill him regardless.
This is gonna be horrible.
It's a complete change of mind for this character. For sure.
And it's an
align himself with Andor.
Awesome,
so
and I agree. And it made me super excited. Like
it just cuts to black after that too.
There was a part, I was like interested, then I wasn't, like I said at the beginning. And then they had that whole Syril, and I was like, And then when this happened, dude, I was so hooked, like so immensely hooked. That made me so excited for episode 10, which has got to be at least a possible plan or maybe the escape of the next episode. And I think it's going to be epic, and I'm so excited.
Either they'll spend the entire episode playing it or episode 11. But listen, man, I called this. If you look back at our last episode, I said the old guy was going to die.
Yeah.
And that there'd be some fuel in part to help, align Andor and Kino together.
Well, good job there, Nathan.
So, listen, man, I don't want to take no credit, but it was pretty predictable. But yeah, it was so hype, man. I'm glad it happened.
It was. And it gets me excited, which is what you want
for the show. For the last 3 episodes.
Exactly.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check us out. If you want to stay up to date with all of our announcements and our new episodes, check out our socials. Here's in the Moment on TikTok with extra T for some funny content, and then Here's in the Moment on Instagram. As far as our previous episode goes, we got Latest Superhero News Part 15, where we discuss with our boy Isaac, mainly James Gunn heading DC Studios. So big news over there.
We just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.